Hey, you! Did you know any of these curious facts? 1. It's illegal to own just one guinea pig in Switzerland. The law was introduced in 2008 as part of a legislative effort to grant social rights to pets. Guinea pigs are social creatures who grow lonesome without a friend. 2. The ancient Romans used to drop a piece of toast into their wine for good health. Ancient Greeks drank to each other's health and welfare. The idea of poison, which was a potent weapon in the 6th century, also came into play. According to David Fulmer's book, A Gentleman's Guide to Toasting, toasting was a good faith gesture to assure the drink wasn't spiked with poison. The Romans built upon this Greek custom of drinking to others' health and well-being. They added toasted breadcrumbs to their goblets, reducing the acidity of the often bitter wine. Thus came the appellation of toasting. 3. There are more castles in Germany than McDonald's in the United States. Germany has a total of 25,000 castles. Even though some articles speak of only 20,000, this number is still much higher than the number of McDonald's locations in the entire U.S., which as of this year is over 13,000. 4. There's a real law stating it's illegal to kill Bigfoot and other Sasquatch-like creatures. Skamania County in Washington considers itself a Bigfoot refuge, and a 1984 ordinance states that killing this endangered ape-like creature can get you a year in jail, a $1,000 fine, or both. 5. Cornflakes were invented to suppress sexual impulses and desires. John Harvey Kellogg, who first created the cereal in the late 19th century, believed that meat and richly flavored foods increased sexual desire. So he originally intended it to be a healthy, ready-to-eat and anti-self-pleasuring morning meal. The physician was celibate, having never consummated his marriage, and keeping a separate bedroom from his wife. 6. The Night's Watch cloaks in Game of Thrones were actually rugs from IKEA. The members of the Night's Watch are seen as a band of misfits who fight nobly and apparently go shopping at big box furniture stores. During a talk at the Getty Museum, Michelle Clapton, who designed the costumes for seasons 1 through 5, revealed the secret about the furs. They are actually IKEA rugs that were cut, shaved, and broken down using dye or sandpaper to make them look aged. 7. Los Angeles is actually an abbreviation. The full original name for the settlement was El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora, Reina de Los Angeles del Rio Porciúncula, which translates to the City of Our Lady, Queen of the Angels on the River Porciúncula. Can you imagine putting all of that on a freeway sign? 8. Giraffes in the wild only sleep for around 5 minutes at a time. Because of the dangers they face in the wild, not only do they sleep while standing, but they also sleep intermittently, so that they're prepared to run at any given moment. 9. Snoop Dogg's legal name is Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr. The American artist was named after his stepfather, Calvin Cortazar Broadus Sr., as his biological father left the family only 3 months after his birth. His professional name comes from his childhood nickname, Snoopy, given by his mother due to his love of the cartoon character from Peanuts. 10. The mantis shrimp throws the fastest punch in the world. Despite being 4 inches long, this is the definition of small but mighty. The mantis shrimp are famous for their powerful forearms, which can throw the fastest punch on the planet up to 50 miles per hour. The arm can accelerate through water at 10,000 times the force of gravity, creating a pressure wave that boils the water in front of it and hits its prey with the force of a rifle bullet. 11. If you're drunk or violent in Japan, police will take a huge futon and roll you up like a burrito. Police in Japan rarely ever resort to violence. They prefer putting a greater emphasis on martial arts, as they are expected to become black belts in judo to help control any situation at hand. After the rapping, police will take the drunk or violent person to the station to let them calm down. 12. In the 16th century, only the rich had black teeth. In Elizabethan England, the blackening of teeth was a consequence of the high consumption of sugar among the wealthy. Sugar was a luxury item, and its heavy consumption with every meal led to tooth decay and blackened teeth. Even the toothpaste contained a high percentage of sugar. This became inadvertently fashionable, as it indicated wealth and access to luxury foods. 13. There's a rare neurological disorder called Alice in Wonderland syndrome. Discovered in 1950 by Dr. John Todd, a British psychiatrist. This is a rare condition that causes temporary episodes of distorted perception and disorientation. You may feel larger or smaller than you actually are. You may also feel like the surrounding area is shifting and feel further away or closer than it really is. These distortions are caused by changes in how your brain perceives the environment you're in. This syndrome can affect multiple senses, including vision, touch, and hearing. You may also lose a sense of time. It may seem to pass faster or slower than you think. This rare condition primarily affects children and young adults that tend to grow out the disordered perceptions as they age. 14. On average, a grizzly bear's bite is strong enough to crush a bowling ball. The bite force is estimated to be around 1,200 pounds per square inch. This immense bite strength allows grizzly bears to easily break through bones, thick flesh, and tough materials such as nuts and roots that are essential for their diet. 15. Miss Piggy's original name was going to be Piggy Lee. Bonnie Erickson designed and built the inimitable Miss Piggy in 1974 for an early Muppets television special. She took inspiration from Peggy Lee, a famous jazz singer. When she first created the character, she named her Miss Piggy Lee as both a joke and an homage. As Piggy's fame began to grow, nobody wanted to upset Peggy Lee, especially because they admired her work so. The Muppets' name was shortened. 16. Lady Gaga once spent $50,000 on a ghost detector. In 2010, the extravagant artist claimed that a ghost named Ryan chased her, believing this was a bad omen. Gaga spent $50,000 on a state-of-the-art electromagnetic field meter to detect nearby spirits. Apart from that, she even hired a team of paranormal activity investigators to inspect every concert venue she was about to perform. 17. Woodpeckers can wrap their tongues around their brains. Having its tongue wrapped around the back of its brain doesn't just give a woodpecker somewhere to store a long appendage. It also helps protect the bird's brain from injury during high-speed pecking. The muscles that surround the woodpecker hyoid bone contracts, holding the skull and spine snugly in place as the bird's beak collides with a tree. Just like a seatbelt keeps you from flying forward if someone slams on the brakes. 18. Pound cake doesn't weigh 1 pound. According to the original recipe, it requires 4 pounds to make an original pound cake. That's 1 pound for each ingredient: flour, eggs, butter, and sugar. 19. There's a coral reef that's taller than the Empire State Building. An enormous coral reef has been found at the northern tip of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. At 500 meters high, the reef is taller than New York's Empire State Building and the Petronas Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur. Scientists on a 12-month mission found the structure detached from the Great Barrier Reef while they were conducting 3D mapping of the seafloor in the area. 20. Winnie the Pooh was banned from a Polish playground. The much-loved animated bear was suggested at a local council meeting to decide which famous character should become the face of the play area in the small town of Tzyn. But the idea soon sparked outrage among more conservative members. Poor Pooh was banned from the Polish playground because he was considered to be inappropriately dressed only from the waist up. 21. Redheads are more resistant to anesthesia. Red is the rarest hair color, with less than 2% of the world's population. It turns out the genes that produce redheads also lead them to experience pain differently than the rest of us. Studies have shown that redheads need about 20% more anesthesia to be sedated. But they have a different tolerance for pain, needing a lower dose of pain-killing analgesics. 22. Barbie has a full name: Barbara Millicent Roberts. The fashion doll created by American businesswoman Ruth Handler, she actually named the toy doll after her daughter Barbara. And believe it or not, Barbie's male counterpart, Ken, was named after Handler's son, Kenneth. 23. There's an annual Monkey Buffet Festival held in Thailand. Among the ruins of the Pra Prang Samyat Temple in Lopburi, a banquet awaits. This feast, made of nearly 2 tons of fresh fruit and vegetables, is held in celebration of Lopburi's thousands of monkeys, thought to bring good luck to the area and its people. 24. A buttload is a real unit of measurement. People often use the expression a buttload when they want to say a very large amount. Little do they know that the expression actually refers to 126 gallons of wine. The expression dates back to the Wild West measuring system, where merchants shipped wine, whiskey, and other alcoholic beverages in large wooden casks. Whoever gave the butt its name was certainly not thinking of anyone's rear end. The word butt comes from botte, which in Italian translates to barrel. 25. There are more fake flamingos in the world than real ones. There are just under 2 million flamingos in the wild, whereas their plastic cousins, produced on a mass scale since 1957, surpasses this number by a lot more millions. 26. The blob of toothpaste you squeeze onto your toothbrush actually has a name. It's called a nurdle. 27. If you sneeze uncontrollably after being suddenly exposed to bright lights, you might have inherited a genetic trait. Photic sneeze reflex, or also known as the Achu syndrome, it manifests itself in the form of uncontrollable sneezing in response to a stimulus which would not produce a sneeze in people without the trait. Sneezes generally occur in bursts of 1 to 10 sneezes, followed by a refractory period that can be as long as 24 hours. 28. Ketchup used to be sold as medicine. In the 1830s, tomato ketchup was sold as a medicine that could cure ailments like diarrhea and indigestion. The idea was initially proposed by Dr. John Cook Bennett in 1834, who later decided to sell the recipe in the form of tomato pills. 29. The longest walking distance in the world is 14,000 miles. From South Africa to extreme north of Russia, a real person walking this route at a sustainable pace would need about 3 years to complete the trip. They'd need to pack a variety of items, sell their stuff, and buy new stuff along the way, as they would pass through terrains where desert, rain, extreme cold, and even body armor gear is necessary. 30. Hawaii gets 3 feet closer to Alaska every year. As the island sits on the Pacific tectonic plate, it's constantly moving closer to the mainland each year, because tectonic plates are always moving due to currents created by rising and sinking rocks, making the island slowly move with it. 31. Surgeons that play video games perform better. A study was conducted at the Beth Israel Medical Center in New York. Out of 33 surgeons, only 9 played video games, at least 3 hours per week. This reflected in 37% less errors and 27% faster surgeries compared to the other 24 subjects who had never played video games before. It's believed that playing video games helps improve fine motor skills, eye-hand coordination, visual attention, depth perception, and computer competencies. 32. You can now get a headstone with a QR code. They are called living headstones. These codes are placed directly on the monument and linked to a personalized memorial webpage where they show pages with photos, video biographies, and comments from loved ones. 33. There are some delicious everyday snacks that are actually vegan. In fact, there are a lot of food products that you probably consume which are vegan, but you just don't know it. The original Fritos chips, Hershey's chocolate syrup, the Ritz crackers, Sour Patch Kids, Oreos, and Skittles are just a few examples. 34. The sound of a Star Wars lightsaber was created using only 2 sounds. It was created by legendary sound designer Ben Burt. He recorded and combined the sound of a projector's motor humming with the buzzing sound from the back of his tube television set. Then, he made a new recording using a different microphone, swinging it around in front of the speaker, creating a Doppler effect. In other words, the iconic sound of a laser cutting the air that so many people enjoy hearing. 35. There is an uninhabited island in the Bahamas known as Pig Beach. The island takes its unofficial name from the fact that it is populated by a colony of feral pigs, which live on the island. Although it's impossible to answer the question, how did they get there? A large variety of theories surfaced throughout the years, from pirates to sailors stashing them for later, passing through shipwreck survivors to even just a business scheme to attract tourists to the Bahamas. 36. The warty comb jellyfish is the only animal with a disappearing anus. A few years ago, researchers discovered that every time a warty comb jelly needs to poop, the outer skin and the digestive system fuse to form an opening. Then after the poop is completed, that nexus vanishes without a trace. This phenomenon occurs about once per hour if it's a large adult, or every 10 minutes if it's the tiniest of comb jellies. 37. In almost every scene of Fight Club, there is a Starbucks coffee cup. Fight Club became one of the greatest films of the 90s. It's a film that's as deep as it is memorable, having fans closely examining every inch of the film for Easter eggs inserted by director David Fincher. A cup can be spotted in almost every scene, emblazoned with the Starbucks logo, adding an extra layer to the film to make it all the more rewatchable. Most fans believe Fincher's use of the cups is actually closely linked to the film's anti-consumerist narrative, while others believe the director has a personal vendetta against the coffee chain. 38. Cookie Monster's real name is Sid. In a song in 2004 and later in an interview in 2017, Cookie Monster revealed his real name as Sid, though in the first season he was referred to as both tiny and hairy. 39. The fear of vegetables is called laconophobia. The phobia sounds a bit ludicrous, but it's no laughing matter. People who suffer from laconophobia experience real symptoms at the mere sight of broccoli or bell peppers, ranging from nausea to shortness of breath. 40. A mob boss used to wander around New York in his bathrobe. For nearly 30 years, Genovese crime boss Vincent Gigante pretended to be mentally ill to avoid prison. He wandered the streets of Greenwich Village in an elaborate performance of insanity. Meanwhile, he managed to expand the Genovese family into a criminal empire, generating about $100 million in a year. 41. Some mushroom species glow in the dark. In reality, there are over 70 different species of mushrooms that can glow in the dark due to a chemical reaction involving luciferase and oxygen, similar to what makes fire flows glow. The glow helps attract insects that spread mushroom spores. In the mushroom world, the phenomenon is called foxfire, and it occurs mostly with fungi growing on decaying wood. 42. Iceland has an incest app. A group of students at the University of Iceland in Reykjavik have created an Android app that prevents Icelanders from accidentally dating their cousins. The app draws information from the Book of Icelanders database, a national record of Iceland residents, and family trees dating back into the Middle Ages. You can bump the phone and check out each other's family lineage before bumping in bed. 43. Pope Francis used to be a nightclub bouncer. Like many career politicians, plenty of popes haven't spent their working years completely within the church. This is the case of Pope Francis, born as Jorge Mario Bergoglio, revealed that he had worked as a bar bouncer in Buenos Aires when he was younger. In addition to sweeping floors as a janitor, he also worked the morning shift as a technician in a chemical lab, controlling the raw substances. 44. The U.S. government gave Indiana University $1 million to study memes. The grant from the National Science Foundation awarded 4 Indiana researchers over $900,000 for a project called Thuthi. This project consisted in demystifying why some ideas cause viral explosions, while others are quickly forgotten. 45. The most leaves ever found on a clover is 63. It's a Guinness World Record discovered by Yoshiharu Watanabe in Nasushobara. Mr. Watanabe has been growing clovers in his garden since 2012. 46. Before mercury, brandy was used to fill thermometers. The thermometer is essentially the same as those used today, except that it was filled with brandy rather than mercury. The freezing point of alcohol is less than -100 degrees, so we can measure very low temperatures. The expansion of alcohol is more than that of mercury for the same rise or fall of temperature. Hence, alcohol thermometers can measure temperature more accurately. 47. The Hollywood sign used to say, Hollywoodland. The original sign was erected in 1923 and originally read, Hollywoodland. Real estate developers Woodruff and Schultz used the sign to promote the name of a new housing development in the hills. They intended to leave the huge letter sign for only 1 year and a half. The golden age of Hollywood gave it widespread visibility, causing it to be left beyond that for over a quarter century, still spelling Hollywoodland. 48. Peanut butter can be turned into diamonds. Through a scientific process called high-pressure, high-temperature synthesis, peanut butter can be transformed into a crystallized diamond. As fascinating as this process sounds, there's a catch. It takes 3 whole weeks to produce a 3-millimeter stone, which is smaller than a round 0.25 carat diamond. 49. Lipsticks contain fish scales. Fish scales contain something called pearl essence. This silvery substance is what creates the shimmer effect in lipstick, nail polish shampoos, and other skincare products. 50. Left-handed people are better at particular sports. Studies have shown that athletic contests that involve competing one-on-one lefties possess advantages, not only the element of surprise, but also a superior divergent thinking skill and creativity provided by a more developed right brain hemisphere. And there you have it, folks. 50 facts to tickle your brain, ignite your curiosity, and give you some fantastic conversation starters. Whether you're trying to impress someone at a party with your knowledge of ancient Roman wine practices, or just looking for a way to explain why you've been eating Oreos nonstop, we hope you've enjoyed this journey through the weird and wonderful world of trivia. Remember, the next time you're at an IKEA, think of the Night's Watch cloaks from Game of Thrones, and maybe even grab one for your next cosplay. And if you find yourself sneezing uncontrollably in bright sunlight, just blame it on your photic sneeze reflex, and not the fact that you didn't dust your house for a week. As we part ways, keep this thought in mind. Life is full of unexpected wonders, from the disappearing anus to the inspiring heights of a coral reef. So stay curious, stay amazed, and keep exploring, because the world is more magical and amusing than we could ever imagine. And who knows, maybe one day, you'll turn your own kitchen into a diamond factory with just a jar of peanut butter. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on another fascinating fact. Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear which fact you found the most interesting. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.